They smiled for a photo they'd never forget. A simple portrait, parents, children, a dog. But when the film was developed, there was one face too many. A pale woman stood behind them, mouth agape, eyes entirely black. No one remembered her being there. The photo was destroyed, but not before it was copied. And from that moment on, the family began to die. It was a golden afternoon in the summer of 1997, in the quiet suburb of Renfield, Pennsylvania. The Holloway family had invited close friends and neighbors for a backyard barbecue, a yearly tradition filled with grilled corn, lemonade, and laughter echoing beneath a wide blue sky. Near the end of the gathering, a neighbor named Mr. Callum offered to take a family photo. He brought out his father's old Polaroid, a clunky, time-worn thing that smelled faintly of dust and chemicals. The Holloways lined up, mother, father, 3 smiling children, and their golden retriever posed in front of the backyard hedge. No one stood behind them. Only a weathered fence and a row of sleeping pine trees. The camera clicked, buzzed, and spat out a cloudy image. Everyone clapped. It was nothing more than a keepsake, until the next morning. Mr. Callum, pale and trembling, called them in panic. He had developed the image. There, behind the family, was a 4th adult face, chalk-white, blurry, smiling with dead eyes. No one recognized her. And no one remembered her being there. Disturbed by the apparition, the Holloways threw the Polaroid into the trash. But 11-year-old Brandon, curious and quietly unsettled, had scanned the photo at school weeks earlier for a class project. The digital file remained on his student computer. That Monday, the school printer began acting erratically, spitting out copies of the image at random intervals. Once during math class, again in the library, and twice more without command. Each printed copy revealed a chilling progression. The unknown woman's face appeared marginally closer to the children. Her eyes, once vacant and distant, now seemed to follow. At home, Brandon began screaming at night, pointing toward the darkened hallway and whispering, "She's watching me. She's standing right there." The family's dog, once affectionate and fearless, refused to enter the living room, growling at unseen corners, tail stiff with terror. Then came the power outages. Every night at precisely 3:13 a.m., the lights died. Clocks blinked. Silence deepened. The air turned cold. And the photograph returned again. Tragedy struck without warning. 8-year-old Claire Holloway was discovered lifeless in her bedroom, tucked under the blankets as if peacefully asleep. But her face told a different story. It was contorted in frozen terror, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Her features eerily mirrored the expression of the ghostly woman in the family photo. There were no signs of trauma. No evidence of forced entry. Authorities labeled it sudden cardiac arrest, though the attending officer quietly muttered, "She looks like she saw something." At the funeral, amid bouquets and whispered condolences, an unmarked envelope was placed atop Claire's small coffin. Inside, the same family photo. Only now, the woman's pale hand rested gently on Claire's shoulder. Mrs. Holloway began to deteriorate. She barely spoke, often staring at the walls with vacant eyes. In moments of lucidity, she whispered one phrase over and over. "The woman smiles wider every day." The mystery deepened when Uncle Raymond, once a hobbyist photographer, decided to investigate the photo's origin. He traced the brand of the film paper, cross-referencing it with old processing logs, and what he uncovered chilled him to the core. Across 5 states, there were reports of near-identical photographs. Smiling families. An unknown face. And soon after, an inexplicable death. Each photo had been taken with the same vintage Polaroid model, using film from a specific 1995 batch. The link was undeniable. The neighbor who took the Holloway photo finally confessed. He had purchased the camera at a dusty estate sale 2 towns over. The estate belonged to a family notorious for tragedy. No resident had lived beyond the age of 40. The camera had been unearthed from within a sealed attic wall, wrapped in a velvet cloth, stitched with symbols no one could identify. Digging through the brittle pages of Wexler County's forgotten archives, a name finally emerges: Miriam Bellamy, a 24-year-old portrait subject photographed in 1901. Her records tell a disturbing story. Shortly after her final sitting, she claimed the camera had stolen part of her soul, insisting her reflection in mirrors began to fade. Labeled delusional, she was confined to Blackwood Asylum, until the day she vanished without a trace. Every surviving negative of her portraits has since warped, faces smeared, eyes burned white, or the emulsion inexplicably blackened. A historian from the American Photographic Society theorizes Miriam was cursed, her essence tethered to light and lens, a parasitic echo, forced to survive within images, both physical and digital. The more she's seen, the stronger she becomes. One chilling theory gains traction: she needs new photographs, new frames, to exist. And as cameras evolve, so does her reach. She's no longer confined to paper. Now, she's in the cloud. Desperation sets in. The Holloways enlist a digital forensics expert, a man fluent in erasure, specializing in the total obliteration of data. Every scan, every backup, even cached thumbnails are methodically wiped. External drives are dismantled. Cloud accounts deleted. Servers purged. It is a full-scale digital exorcism. For 48 hours, the house remains still. Then, without prompt, the home printer awakens at 3:13 a.m., humming, grinding. It prints a single image. A new photograph. The remaining Holloway family lies asleep in their beds, and behind each of them stands Miriam, her smile grotesquely wide, her translucent hand hovering just above their faces. That night, lightning strikes. Fire consumes the house in minutes. When rescuers arrive, only one survives: the eldest son, found outside, barefoot in the rain, shivering. He whispers just one sentence: "I never looked at the picture." In 2006, the original Polaroid quietly resurfaced on a niche creepypasta forum under the thread title, "She Wasn't There Before." Dozens claimed sleepless nights, haunted by a pale woman smiling just behind their eyelids. Some swore they heard whispering from their phone speakers, even when the app was closed. A subreddit formed, obsessively dedicated to the extra face. Within weeks, 23 members deleted their accounts simultaneously. No explanation. No return. The thread was locked. The image removed. Its origin erased. But now and then, a grainy version reappears, buried in chain emails, hidden on old hard drives, tucked into ghost story threads. If you stumble across a family photo and feel something's off, don't trust your memory. Look again. Count the faces.